Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Cryptic Heartland podcast. This is episode number 133. We are live back again this week with special guests. Oh, I got too many people showing up on screen, but that's all right. We'll fix that in just a second here. We have the return of the She-Squatchers, some friends of ours from the north and out way east. Gotta tag everybody in there. So they were on a previous episode with us, and they so graciously decided to come back and entertain us some more with some other stories. And we were able to go, Jason and I were able to go on a couple of their podcasts recently. Their podcast is called The Journey Radio Show. It's available live on YouTube, and we were on just this past Wednesday, actually, St. Patty's Day. And we had some fun stories, some fun interactions, and they're here with us. First and foremost, let me just introduce everybody again, since we have some new faces in the crowd this week. We got Dan the Man on the right there. We got in the middle Andy, and of course Jason, and I'm one of the hosts, Leo. And then we got the lovely She-Squatchers here. They are from top to bottom. Tammy's up on top. Hey-o. And then below her is I'm gonna do.
You walked into that one.
Tammy Tricle, right? Nailed it finally. Hey, it took me 300 times. Okay. And then we got Jenna Grover down below, and then to the bottom right, we have Jen Cruz. They are the lovely She-Squatchers. Not just an all-girl paranormal, oh good lord, I need to start over. All-girl Bigfooting group. They got their start in paranormal. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight, hopefully. But they do amazing radio show. They're brave. They go out there as themselves into the forest and actually hunt for the illustrious Bigfoot. So can't wait to hear their stories, and they can tell us what's been going on. We've talked to them a couple of times, like I said, this week, so we know some stuff, but we want to hear their story now. So what's everyone been up to this week? I mean, since I talked to you guys on Wednesday, you guys doing okay still?
Well, we're still here.
Yay! That's important.
Busy as ever.
What'd you say?
Very busy as ever.
Yes, I think we've all been pretty busy. I'm still trying to get busy. Well, that sounds terrible. Good Lord. Wow. I need to... It's, yeah. I was going to say, we've just been all day. What is happening here? Okay. Things are going haywires. I don't know what's happening here. I think it's all the dirty talk. I'm getting all flustered over here. But, hey, it's definitely worth it, so... But... So no, really, God. I bet you people can't hear you at home yet. Let's try this again here. Oh my God, it's going fabulous. Trying to figure out why this popped up on my screen, and it shouldn't be. Oh, that's why. Oh my God, do you think this is my first time doing this? It's my second time actually, but you know, we won't go there.
No, volume's good on YouTube.
Yeah, that was a thing last week we had trouble with. Let's do this. Hey, there we go. We're doing something right. So, anywho, God.
It was Facebook last week.
Yeah, we had trouble with Facebook last week. They did some kind of upgrade where it broke everything. So, people at home, if you can't hear us on Facebook, which hopefully you can, if not, we're also on YouTube, and we're also on Twitch TV under the Cryptic Heartland logo, or name, excuse me. So, anyways, wow. I think I need to go to bed or something. I'm done. Anywho. It does. Yeah, so...
Take a sip of that drink over there.
Yeah. It's not green. That's what the problem is. I need to go to the Green Bear again. We had some fun on St. Patty's Day with the girls. So what have you guys been up to? Like I said, I know you guys... We talked on your shows. You got some big things coming up in the future, especially in April. April, was it the 26th? Oh, God. See, I'm totally wrong. 23rd, 24th. What are you guys doing that day?
We are going to be in Hastings, Nebraska at the Nebraska Conference.
Nice.
They're speaking at the event and having everyone come down to meet us. It is an outdoor event being held at the Chautauqua Park Facility, which is it's really a large structure. It has one wall with a stage, and the rest is open air to the rest of the park. So we've got lots of fresh air. We'll be speaking at the event and meeting everybody there, as well
They can't hear them on Facebook.
Fair enough. So we need to tell everybody to go to YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oops. Oh, man.
You bet.
Hmm. Okay.
Understandable. Yeah. Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's very cool.
What kind of experiences? Oh. That was good timing. Quick, tell us now. Exactly. Ooh. Wow. You never know. Very cool. Sorry, I'm starting. Good.
Well, after we got Oliver worked right back at our camp, we just kind of stopped and sat down on top of a picnic table here at the river. And it was just really dark out. We turned off all the lights and we were just sitting there, just taking it all in. And all of a sudden we hear this, and it sounded like an owl.
Oh, wow.
And I was in the and I'm like, okay, that's a big cat. Get to the car.
Yes.
But you only have to be faster than the next person to you.
Always. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. True. For a second. I know, I'm listening. I can hear him barely.
Good call, eh?
Have it recorded. She
All right.
For a lifetime.
Thank you for a lifetime, did someone say? Oh.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably take one for the team. It's all right.
I don't know. I think we would probably be there for you, Jen. I don't think I could honestly leave a person. Like, when you first take off, you're like, hey! But you know what? In all honesty, you stop and you think, literally think, okay, I gotta fix this situation. You really have to. You just don't know what you're gonna do, you know? Hopefully next time I won't go, hey! And run. After Jen tells me to.
I did not say run. I said get to the car.
And in a very forceful, excited way. But that's okay. Next time I'll be.
Next time you'll be what? How would you fix it with the mom line, Jenna? What would you do different?
If what?
How would you said you'd have to fix a situation. How would you fix it?
Well, okay, I don't know why, but I keep hearing myself talking behind me. Is that everybody else? I think I'd fix it by, Jen, when you said run, I would have probably, or not run, I'm sorry, wrong words.
Down.
Get to the car! When you said get to the car like that, and we ran to the car. I think what I probably would have done is checked and made sure that you didn't fall on your face first, instead of looking for the car handle. No, you guys have to understand. You guys, I mean, we love each other. We're going to be there for each other. We laugh and giggle about it. But in all honesty, I think we all have each other's back.
And they also like to tease me about when I do fall. I have video of that on our Facebook page.
We don't laugh. We don't laugh at you, Jen.
Well,
we laugh
we
with
did.
you. Okay, maybe that time. But
when we were in the snow,
Wait, which time?
and she was using like a tripod or something as a walking stick.
Oh.
No.
On her face.
All right, yeah.
We laughed.
Yeah.
I got twisted in the deep hole of snow, and down I went.
I'm sorry, Jen. That was gigglicious.
Gigglicious.
Hey, I gotta admit, when Leo fell through the ceiling at the Candle Club, my first thought was, "Are you okay?" And then after that, total laughter, because we caught it all on camera. It's like he's actually telling the cameraman, "Watch your step, don't fall through the ceiling." And then the next thing you see is Leo just disappearing.
That was allegedly, by the way. It never happened. I mean, it's not on
It
film
did
or
happen.
anything.
I seen the video.
Yeah, the video's funny. He just gone.
Yeah, it was. I've probably told the story a million times to everybody, but you guys probably haven't heard this yet. I'm afraid of heights. That's my one weakness is heights. Not kryptonite or anything. Anyways, but I was getting some high EMF spikes on our millimeter, and I was like, "What's causing this?" Because I can see lights, obviously, and it's like a 30-foot, 40-foot ceiling. I'm like, "Well," I made the comment, and the owner heard me. He's like, "It's just a attic up there. We keep storage up there. You want to go check it out?" I'm like, "Oh, sure I do. Of course I do." I'm like, as I climb the ladder, I'm thinking, "What the heck am I doing?" So it's the owner in front of me, myself, and then our cameraman behind us. And the owner takes a step in there and says, "Hey, be careful, just stay on the plywood." I turn to the guy behind me, the cameraman, and say, "Hey, make sure you stay on the plywood." No sooner I get the last word out of my mouth, I take one more step, which I think is plywood, which happens not to be, and I go almost falling all the way through the ceiling. Luckily, the floor joints are, they braced my fall, but I also landed on top of their office. They had a big, tall, like, credenza or some kind of desk that broke my fall. Otherwise, if none of that would have happened, I probably would have fell 20 feet to who knows how far below. But immediately I felt like I was bleeding out, like my leg, I could just feel like wet, but nothing was there. It was weird. But days later, the deep bruises started coming out, and I had them for about 3 or 4 months. The bruises never went away, and eventually, over time, I healed. But it was a fun venture, let me tell you. So next time, listen to the owners. If they say stay on the plywood, stay on the plywood. And you won't fall. Just throwing that out there. Oh my gosh. So have you guys had any mishaps like that other than what you guys described a minute ago? Any of you guys have any funny stories to tell, like tripping on a log or, out in the forest?
Well, I can kind of mention the story about that one thing if you guys want me to tell it.
The one thing.
The one thing
I'm.
that-
Yes.
That must be code word for
Can I
something.
tell that?
There is bad. That is bad blood right there.
Should I tell it or not?
Yeah, tell it.
Okay, because well, sometimes we don't tell it on late story or on early talk shows or talk shows. We're so famous, we do talk shows.
Heck
now,
yeah.
never mind. So anyway, Jen and I, when I first started going out with Jen, I was wearing this thing called sticky bras, and you basically lift it up and pop it on. Same thing, pop. It was like 2 hands. It was awesome. I wore it with everything. I could wear it with tank tops. I live in tank tops. Didn't have to worry about the straps. It was like, oh yeah. So I wore these things for like a year, at least a year before this happened. Nothing ever. It never came off. Jen and I went out, and it happened to be really hot that
96
day.
degrees.
Yes.
96 degrees.
It was very hot that day, and unfortunately, we have to dress not for the weather. We have to dress for the mosquitoes and the different plants and things. And so I had a turtleneck on up to here. So I had, or not a turtleneck, I had a shirt up to here, and basically, I got really hot because I was and they just melted off. And I thought, screw it, I'm just going to take them off. So I was just like, and I ripped them off. And then we went into the woods. Well, this has to be the best ever evidence we've ever found. And I'm sitting in there, and we're going through the evidence. This is the time that we end up finding that den-like structure. Now, I'm going through the video with Jen, and Jen is like, oh my gosh, Jenna, this is the best we've ever had. This is like the best evidence. We've got to show this everywhere. Everybody's got to see it. And I looked at it, and I went, Jen, I said, you can see everything. I said, you can see my boobs. And it was so embarrassing. I was like,
wearing,
oh my gosh.
Wait. The shirt she was wearing was a little see-through.
Oh, that's right. They were cuddle duds. They were the thinnest cuddle duds. That's right. It was the thinnest cuddle duds. That's why you could see through them. So people, do not wear thin cuddle duds out there and think you're going to not be naked. So I'm just saying. So
You got that, Dan? You got that?
I do. I got that.
Right,
Thank
you
you.
need that
I have to let Dan know that. Yeah, I was going to say.
But yeah,
She
I
had
haven't told that
several
story
layers
forever.
of- She had several layers of clothing on that just kept coming off until it was just the cuddle duds. And when she took her sticky bra off, I guess you could see right through it, but I didn't notice because even though I was filming and she was walking, I was filming her going here and there. I wasn't really looking at her. I was looking at the awesome stuff that we found. So even when we were watching the video, I was still not looking at her. And
I couldn't believe it because there was a boob and a roll, and I mean, I was just like, really, we cannot show this. You know, like fat roll. When you're like sitting over and you're bent over and stuff, and you're like, what are those? I haven't seen them before.
Oh, no.
But no, I mean, really. I mean, we had a good time though. It was awesome, and it's a funny story now. I apologize, I haven't told it for a long time, so I was trying to remember in my brain. But
that awesome footage has still yet to be seen by the world.
See, you should have said it's out there. You have to go to our Facebook page, the She-Squatchers, and try to find it. So they go through all your evidence, all your videos.
Uh-huh.
It's out there. Trust me. Wink, wink.
well, I guess maybe we could do like a certain showing for the winners of a contest or something.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
You heard it here first, people.
Jenna is going to show you her boobs.
No, I won't. I just got too far ahead of myself because it's
Oh my god.
fun to talk
I have
about.
threatened. I have threatened to release it under. I have threatened to release it under Girls Gone Squash.
I thought you were going to
That's
say,
awesome.
I have threatened.
I was gonna
to-
say that's one way to keep you in line, Jenna. I want
Oh,
to
I
release this
know.
footage if you don't knock it off. See.
Yeah, and she's good at that.
See, and I have all the audio and video footage, most of the stuff in my possession, so they can't threaten me with anything. So I'm like,
That's
go ahead,
true.
threaten me away.
That's true.
Well, this evidence that what we have is amazing. We just need someone who's going to be able to,
Edit it.
edit it very, very well before we show that sucker.
We don't know how to do that. We're not good at editing. We
And
don't.
somebody that you trust that is not going to, keep an original copy.
Well, see,
Release their own Girls Gone Squash video.
see, I would offer up my services, but I don't know how trustworthy I am. So I'm just
Yeah.
I'm just kidding around. I do edit video all the time, so I mean, I do all the editing for us.
I don't
but
think I could actually be able to look you in the eye if you saw that video.
I was gonna say, and if I saw you, I probably wouldn't looking at your eyes either. I'm just kidding around.
You'd be going, she was right. There it is.
I'm kidding. Oh my God.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
Fun about life.
Yep. So no, I mean, I like your story better than mine because mine ended with pain, and yours ended up with you flashing everybody basically. So that's kind of cool. Nudity.
Emotionally, it was painful at the time.
We're talking like 45 minutes of video going on here.
Nice.
No.
It's not just a quick flash. It's like we did a full tour and investigation of the entire den-like structure of Jenna.
Oh.
And
Well, you told Leo what to do different next time.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is I've always noticed in all the pictures, due to Jenna's size, she likes to get in the structures, and you guys do size comparisons. So, I mean, I'm sure that wasn't part of it, was it?
I don't think so. Oh, you're on mute, Jen.
no, I'm not. Yes, it was part of that, but she was far enough away in some of that you couldn't see it.
Gotcha.
You could.
No,
on camera.
no, she said something, but it was part because of my size. I thought, not this. Not
No. Let me clarify. Sorry about that. Whoa. I mean, that's one way to do it. I mean, some people use yardsticks. Some people use tape measure. Jenna just says, "Hey, this is how we do it."
Yeah. Okay, I'm turning myself up on mute.
This show is now rated R.
No, anywho, but what I meant to say was when they find a structure or some kind of, out in the actual field, Jenna likes to go into them, and they basically use her for a size comparison, or she's just the brave one that likes to get in them, so whatever it may be.
She was the brave one.
Oh, what happened? Things changed?
I came along.
Tammy.
Oh, Tammy took over. Okay, I gotcha.
Hey, I'll take the challenge.
I've just seen the pictures on Facebook and then your guys' videos that were usually Jenna's the one that's always out there, and it's funny. Because there's some good pictures of, especially the ones where the structures are like ginormous, and then it's like, okay, I'm looking at a huge structure. Oh, wait a minute, what's that little light in there? Oh, that's Jenna. Jenna's in there somewhere. And it's
and now you could see her tots if you were close enough in that picture.
Oh my God.
Her titter tots. Titter tots.
We called them titter tots a long time ago. I totally forgot about
God.
that.
Titter tots. I like that.
I have to remember that story. That was just too fun. I have to relive it.
Need to put that in the tell-all book.
Yeah. And tell the real story.
That's right. What really would happen? What really went on that night? So, no, anyways.
Did you really take those off because you were hot, or did you want to start some kind of revolution?
They just fell off. Oh.
Dangle, revolution.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Whoa.
so you
Go ahead.
guys go Bigfoot hunting, right? So I've
Correct.
got a question for you.
Please.
All right. So you know how animals like to mark their territory by urinating on everything and leaving their scent
Mm-hmm.
marking? Okay. Do you think Bigfoot does that?
That's a great question.
That's good.
What do you think, Jason?
Wow, I don't know. I'm picturing it in my head right now. It looks awful.
Red Rocket.
Well, I've heard, people go out there and urinate to, deter the deers and stuff
Sure.
like that, I mean, and plus humans just do it anyway, so.
Well, but you think they would do that versus not do it so they can attract the deer in, maybe?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either. Because everybody talks about the infamous smell, what are they smelling? Everybody assumes it's the body hair, the, unkept bathing or whatever you may be. Or
Maybe
just,
they're getting ready to pee on you.
maybe it's, well, I wasn't going there, but maybe it's their marking of the territory possibly.
Right, could
I
be.
don't know.
Yeah.
So I have a story about that.
Okay.
Oh, God. Please tell.
Somebody marked your territory.
And then I were on our way back out to that huge den-like structure for the second time. We were going to visit there. And so it's down this, it's a homemade little road that some of the local natives carved through the woods to get their truck through there. It's barely drivable. You will scratch your vehicle if you drive on there. My vehicle's scratched.
Mm.
But so we're driving down there, and I stop the car way, way far away from it. And I said, I'm just going to empty my bladder here before we get too close. Jenna's like, okay. I'm like, do you have to go? She's like, no. So I get out, I go, get back in the car, off we go. We pull up to where it is, and literally we can park 75 feet from that structure, okay? And we get out of the car, and Jenna drops trowel right there.
Trowel?
Drops trowel.
All right.
My mouth drops open, and I start, Jenna, what are you doing?
She did. She was like, what are you doing? They're going to smell you and think we're trying to mark their territory. And I said, well, I didn't know you did it. Why, didn't even think about it. But this was in the beginning, guys. This is like learning curve time. So,
Well, I'm like, just in case they view it as that, you don't want to be like walking up into somebody's house and marking it as yours, right?
true.
Right?
And it made sense. It made sense after she said it. But boy, I had to go. You just don't think until after the fact. And then you're like, oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks, Jen.
So if it,
I thought she understood that when I explained we're gonna go now before we get too close.
No, you literally have to say word by word instruction with me, Jen. And then repeat it.
so you're basically saying you need a Jenna manual to how to do things out in the fields. Are you trying to basically say to yourself?
Most of the time, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, and I was like, well, either she's marking the territory as hers or she's advertising. Either way, I don't know.
I wasn't advertising.
Wow. Just so you know, people on the chat line or on Facebook are saying for $19.95 you get the unedited version of the infamous sticky
tell
boob
them
situation.
It would be more like 19 million, and I may let somebody see it for 19 million, or we may. And then we'll split the money.
How many people?
There's been quite a few actually. A couple people already. Hey, Jen's a businesswoman. I like that. So everything's negotiable. Come on. Oh my God. This is not how I envisioned tonight's show going, but hey, I'm enjoying it, and so are the viewers. So, what else you got for us? Whatever dirty stories.
Here's a question: do any of your viewers or listeners have questions for us? We'd love to.
That's a great question. Let's see. You guys heard it? I'm sure it's going to go well for you guys. It's going to be how much? How can I get the video? Who do I got to talk to?
Really?
And that's just for me. I'm just kidding around. Let me see if anybody's saying anything. Oh my gosh. Let's see what's happening over here in the.
If we happen to get a $19 million, we'll let you know.
And that's just for me. Let's see.
That would be sold.
You guys heard it?
I'm
sure it's going to go well for you guys. It's going to be how much? How can I get the video? Who do I got?
I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Something just went haywire. That's why I shouldn't joke, apparently. Let's see here.
You're in a haunted studio.
You're not wrong. Actually.
Yeah, not wrong.
Yeah. We'll start hearing things. You guys may hear them too, just so you know.
We do have one question that just popped up.
Go ahead, read it, Dan.
And it looks like Janice would like to know, have you guys ever seen a Bigfoot?
Yes, we have actually, but not with. Okay, I can say that I've seen things moving in the woods far from 75 feet away, and I was trying to get there, but Jenna wasn't ready.
Just gotta throw that out there
Wow.
every chance.
Again, I was new. Oh my gosh! I think they think I'm a nutcase.
Well, I was going to say something based upon our conversation on the Journey radio show, but I was going to let that one slide tonight, but Jen's already jumped on it, so no, I'm kidding about the equipment thing.
Oh, I jump it every time.
She jumps it. And here's one thing I have to say. I was thinking about that, how you guys were giving me such heck about Tammy not knowing the instrument or the FLIR.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, wait a minute, every time we talk about this, you guys seem to blame me. But if you're so big into preparedness, why weren't you prepared by knowing the machine before we went out? Just saying. It took me like 7 weeks to figure that out.
before I got out of the car.
You know what? It was new to me too. You have to pick things up and learn them. Sorry, we all have to do it.
I'm gonna say Jenna's not wrong because I always forget how to make my monocular record, and Jenna always has to get it going for me. I'm like, which button is it? And it's dark, you know.
Sure.
Like, gosh,
That's the thing that I
That's
had.
the thing. Is if it had
Tammy.
been daylight, I could have figured that out by myself.
See, if you, I mean, I couldn't even find those button Tammys. So I mean, it's like we just have to get better, you know. So I really wish we would have gotten that guy scratching.
I know it was so. It was. I'm glad I got to see it, but I wish I had been able to record it.
Yeah.
That's my only regret with that whole situation. I'm so happy we got the footage. Maybe I should tell everybody because they don't know what we're talking about.
Oh,
yes,
why don't
please.
you tell the story?
Okay, so when we were in Tennessee, we were to go do a Bigfoot conference up there, and we had gone up with Matthew Delph of Micro. He took us to one of his spots because it's his area, and we went out with a group during the day, and Jenna and I went and saw some good stuff and collected some evidence and got good pictures and everything. So we decided that we would go back at night without the guests because of liability reasons. So we were out to dinner, and Jenna and I were looking on Google Maps, remote viewing the area, and there was all sorts of Bigfoot activity and everything in the area. So when we got up to the top of the mountain, Jen looked at the Google Maps again, and she's like, "Hey, there's one like 30 feet over that way." And I'm like, "Oh yeah." So I jumped out, and I had the FLIR. I did have the FLIR on when I got out, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. He's right there. I see him. You guys, I see him." And Jen is, I don't know what she was still doing in the car, but Jenna was getting out, Matthew's getting out, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I see him. Come here, I see him." And everybody's getting their stuff out, and I'm like, "Okay, I need to record this." And as I'm looking at him, he's arm up over his head, and you can see all this hair hanging down. He's scratching it, and he's just chilling, and I know that he knows that I'm there, but I was like, okay, so I'm like, hey, how do I hit record? Where's the record button? And I'm trying all these buttons, and it's not working, and I'm like, crap. So I'm like, "Jenna, how do I record this thing?" And finally, she came over and got it to record for me. So I didn't get the arm with the long hair, because I think that part of it would have been such more compelling than the rest of the evidence that we got. But we still got 13 minutes of footage of him just sitting there, and he was working with his hands.
Wow.
And we couldn't tell if he was like, taking an animal apart or what, because it was on black hot. So when it's on black hot, hair looks white and warm stuff looks black. And he was white. And further on in the video, I walk in front of the camera and you see me, and I have black skin and white hair. But it was amazing that we got that footage. He knew that we were there. We knew he was there. He let me record him, and I didn't try to get any closer to him. It actually never entered any of our minds to even try to get closer to him. We were just so happy that he was sitting still for 13 minutes for this footage. I mean, everybody else gets a fleeting, shot at something, and I got 13 minutes of FLIR footage of Bigfoot. So I'll take what I can get.
That's pretty awesome. I was going to say, like you said, usually it's just a quick 10-second, 30-second video. And for get 13 minutes of him doing things is pretty impressive.
And by the way, I'd like to interrupt and like to say, when I am not out with them right away, it's because I have cameras, FLIRs, binoculars. I've got like bags of stuff, and this is what I'm getting ready before I'm getting out there. So just like to tell everybody, you guys are so awful. You're like, I don't know, Jenna was.
These two were not with me at that time. But my very first time out, we had a pretty intense encounter where something was walking towards us, and it was obviously bipedal, having 2 feet, walking and stomping and cracking sticks as it was walking. And then I was out there with a paranormal team of women who were paranormal investigators who had never. I mean, I thought this was a great idea to bring them because they had night vision cameras and stuff, which, all of us thought this was a great idea. But I guess, the cameras that they use for haunted house investigations do not light up the forest.
Right.
Except they're not strong enough. So we're all like pointing our cameras at the sound, and we're not seeing what's there. And so living there on that one, but then all of a sudden the sound intensified, and it multiplied. Like there was multiple creatures coming towards us from different directions. And this was all after rocks being thrown and all kinds of things, right? So, I mean, it was definitely a weird situation. When I'd first gotten out of the car, someone handed me a thermal camera, and I'd never played with one before. And I was just like scanning the woods to see if there were any bunnies or deer out there. I was really excited. And when I pointed out in front of the car, there was someone standing there. Looked like someone standing there. And so I thought it was one of the girls, because it was so dark out, you couldn't see anything. So I thought it was one of them, because it looked like a human shape standing there. And I was like, hey, who's in front of the car? And nobody answered me. I'm like, hey, who's out in front of the car? Nobody answered me. And then Marlo heard me feeling anxious, and she comes running up, and she looked at the screen, and she saw the person standing there on the heat signature. And I think it was set to, it was the one where it gives off a red and yellows for temperatures. Right. And so this was coming up bright red. And so she looked at the screen and saw what I was looking at, and she looked up with her eyes, and she said, oh, I just saw eyes. And so I was like, you did? So I look up to see if I can see anything with my naked eye, and I didn't. But when I looked, I'm searching around looking, and then I tried to find it again with the camera, and I couldn't find it. It was gone. And okay, hindsight, not that day, not the next day, not the next week, not the next month. I mean, we're talking probably a couple years before, Jenna had gotten a thermal that was a higher quality thing. That was that one that I was playing with that night was the only time I got to play with that. That was a borrowed thing. And so when Jenna got the FLIR Scout, we were playing with it, and I'm like, people look different. Their heat signature is different when they have clothes on. What I saw that night didn't have a heat signature different with clothes on. It was naked.
Wow.
So I mean, hindsight, it wasn't wearing clothes. So that was interesting. And then when we walked towards that way in the woods, then we had rocks thrown at us, and then we backed back up to the road, and then one of them did like a Bigfoot whoop. And that's when something started walking towards us. When we couldn't see what was coming, and it was really loud, all of a sudden it multiplied, like there was multiple things coming at us from different directions, and we kind of circled up back to back, looking out from the circle. And then one of them said, Jen, do your tobacco thing, which we were on an Ojibwe Indian reservation in Minnesota, and I am part Ojibwe. So I took tobacco into my hand, and what she was referring to was like a traditional Ojibwe prayer, where you offer tobacco as a tobacco offering in your prayer. And so I'm holding the tobacco in my hand, and I'm praying in Ojibwe out loud in the Ojibwe language. And I introduced myself the most formal way, in the old way, with all of my Indian names or my spirit names that I was given in ceremony. I introduced my clan, the one who named me. I started naming my relatives. And I mean, it's a very traditional old way. And then I thanked the little people of the forest, and I thanked Bigfoot by saying Miigwech Kichi Sabe. And as soon as I said that, everything stopped.
Wow.
There was no more steps. There was not a retreat. There was just silence. There was no movement at all. It just stopped. And that to me was extremely exciting, because I had talked to Native elders from different reservations in the area. And one of the Native elders that I talked to at the Turtle Mountain Reservation in North Dakota, she told me that you could pray to Gitchi Sabe, or Bigfoot, to like keep the deer off the road, and he would help you by doing that they would respond to your prayers. Okay. So when I said thank you Bigfoot in the Ojibwe language during my prayer, and everything stopped, I was thrilled. I was like, she was right. They listen. I was really excited about that. All the other girls didn't speak Ojibwe. They had no idea what just happened there. They just knew it stopped. And they were really scared. They were scared. And they wanted to leave. And, so we're just kind of standing there, and I didn't really know what to do next. And one of the girls said, "Hey, let's go check out that spot where we found those footprints earlier today." I'm like, "Yeah, good idea." We jumped in the car and we drove away. So as we're driving away, the girls are like, "This is way scarier than ghost hunting. This is scarier than anything like that. I don't know that I want to do this. This is too scary. Maybe Bigfoot could just walk out in front of the car. That would be good. That would be good enough." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can arrange that." Right? No problem here. But no, really, they didn't really want to get out of the car again. A lot of them didn't. And so we went, checked out that other spot. There was nothing happening there. I'm like, "Hey, let's go back to where we just had something going on," right? So we went back there with a lot of effort of convincing. 2 of them did not get out of the car. But they were sitting there, doors open or windows open, and but they didn't want to get out of the car. And we're standing there, and all of a sudden we hear this sound, just loud echoing, and it sounded similar to, but not, a barred owl. It was too loud, and it sounded too human-like in the voice. And I had David Ellis. He's one of the sound guys that compares audio files of animals with frequency to see what made that sound. I had him listen to it at one of the events we were at, and I had 2 recordings of it from different machines of the sound. And at first he said, "That sounds kind of like a barred owl." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I've listened to every barred owl sound I could find online, and it's not the same." And he listened to the next one, which was closer to the sound when it was recorded, and he's like, "Oh, that's definitely not a barred owl." So, and it was just really loud. It was so loud. I've never heard an owl be like that before, and I've heard lots of owls, but never ever had I heard anything so loud. So we think that possibly that was one of them, because then we learned later that sometimes they will mimic sounds that animals make, or even sometimes that people make.
Yep. That's funny you say that, because some of the yelps we caught at that Tahlequah case we told you guys about, my immediate reaction in my head was, that's got to be an owl. Some type of owl. Kind of whooping back and forth, talking to each other. And like I said, our buddy Brendan that runs Bigfoot in Kansas, went to school to be like I said, game warden, and he's really one with nature. And so is our team founder, also Jeremiah. He's the same way. He spends a lot of time out in nature, and even Jason does too. And nobody could say it was an owl. They're everything but an owl. And we even went online when we got back home to compare the sounds, and it didn't resonate. Some of the stuff we caught was more towards the silverback gorilla sounding, the huffs and stuff like that we had caught. So we knew, we'd hoped there wasn't a silverback gorilla out there roaming that part of the Oklahoma when we were out there, because if so, I'm not going back ever again. No, I'm kidding. I've been back like 4 or 5 times, so I can't. That's a bull-faced lie. I'll go back, trust me. Also, too, I found very interesting what you mentioned, that you guys, or the other gals, would have been more scared of actual encounter with a visible creature in front of them, a Bigfoot, versus the paranormal. Paranormal you can't see, obviously. Well, not always.
Yeah, see, that got me. Like, why wouldn't you want to get back out there? That's why you went out there to begin with.
Yeah, but I can understand, because even though we had the experiences down there, it's like, if I would have came face to face, like you and I looking at each other right now, it might have freaked me out just a little bit too, versus something I can't see.
But like what I saw, like that down in Oklahoma, and sorry, Al, we'll get back to you in a second. But like, I remember one of the last nights we were there in Oklahoma, I saw a figure walk around because there was the light pole that was over by the house.
By the house and the tree.
Saw a dark figure come rounding the corner and was walking toward our direction. Here I am seeing this. I'm like hitting all of you guys, and especially Brendan, and I take off running. I don't care who's following me. I'm charging full on, and next thing I know is I hear something huge crashing down, going down the embankment.
Right.
And stuff. And I still don't know what that was, but it was something upright and huge and walking. It was dark. Yeah. And I charged it. I don't care.
And I know you guys asked us on our show, you said, did we have cameras going that night? We did. But I had it faced away. Well, no, I had it faced away towards the main area, towards our camp, because just for whatever reason. But of course, I swung it after that encounter. I swung it back that direction and never saw anything again on that camera.
It's
other
the
than
thrill
just
of being out
forest.
there and investigating. You
Yeah.
know, I want to know everything about it.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things. Once again, you have to be in the right place at the right time as far as the camera goes, or you have to have your audio recorders going at all times, or whatever, you know.
And for me, if I get hurt and it's lesson learned, I won't do it again.
Very true.
Well, and that was all pre-Jenna and Tammy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah, we were not there. I'm so glad we are what we are right now.
Right.
I mean, us three are amazing together. Jen, you're on mute.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I didn't hear you speak.
Spooky. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding.
So I gotta say, I was really disappointed in myself after that happened that I didn't tell Jenna. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to tell my friends that I was going looking for Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't tell anybody.
I still get ridiculed. I still have friends who are like, "Oh, you still going after that Squatchamo?" Really?
That's okay. We
My fiance, whom I've been with almost 19 years here, or plus 19 plus years, still doesn't believe in Bigfoot, and he thinks this is stupid.
Wow.
I'm like, well, I love you, and I love him. He's the best thing in the world, but he just will not think anything of Bigfoot. So
Yeah.
God bless him. I love him. But
And that's okay. He can stay home while we go look.
There you go.
we get to go look. Prove it.
That's awesome. We had a question in the chat line. Have you ever experienced the infamous odor associated with Bigfoot?
I haven't.
Really?
No,
I've never smelled anything.
as a matter of fact, when we had found a den-like structure, that's the first thing that I said to Jen. I said, the thing is, everything here equals what we know to be Bigfoot, but there was no smell. And I just remember telling her that. I was like, Jen, it doesn't smell. Like, there's no smell. And that's why we started asking other researchers, you know, is this something, are you smelling? And here, some of the researchers aren't smelling when they have these experiences.
Right.
We're starting to wonder, is this something that they're doing as a, you know, getting scared, kind of like a skunk would? Is this, you know, I don't know.
You did have the one stinky handprint.
Oh, that's true.
Indiana.
That's true, but it smelled. I know that smell though. That was actually them digging it. That was raw fish, grub.
Oh, that's right.
Kind of a fishy smell. So I didn't actually get to smell that.
Is that the picture you guys have on your on your Facebook page, or is that a different one? Because you guys have you have one. If you don't mind me showing some of your guys' picture from Facebook, I'll put it out there.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go for it.
There's a couple that I took quite a few from your guys' page just because.
He's stalking us.
Well, yeah.
He is.
I'm actually outside your window right now, so go figure. You're like, wait a minute. you guys all look. Oh my gosh. Give me a second here. I'll pull it up here. But because from when I saw your guys' Facebook page, you guys started posting about 2017. How long you guys been actually together? I know.
2015.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so 2015 we opened a new page in 2017.
Gotcha.
But our website's been going since day one.
Okay. Excellent. Let me get these pulled up here. So I thought it was even maybe Tammy that was in the picture, but let me look here. Well, I didn't get the one with the person. I didn't want to say the wrong thing, but this is the picture I'm talking about, and you can't see it. Cool. Okay. So this is the picture. Is that the infamous one you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. In fact, I haven't seen this picture for so long. It's awesome to see it again. That was literally sand, you guys.
Wow.
Like when I saw this hand, well, actually Jen pointed it out, and then we went over to check it out, and the first thing I did was I looked real close because I thought, okay, is this some kind of mold on the tree? What is this? And all of a sudden I get really close, not saying my eyes are perfect, but you could tell it's sand. I mean, I was like, wow, because it's a handprint made of sand. And I thought, boy, you just knocked that thing and that sand is going to just come apart. And then you just have instincts, and my instincts, it was like someone said, smell it. And so I smelled it. I do what I'm told. You can't not, or else they won't leave you alone. But no, so I smelled it, and it smelled of those grubs, those fish, that fishy kind of thing. And then it turns out that we found out about the dried up riverbed real nearby. In fact, we were checking. Go ahead, Jen.
And look at that picture that he just put up.
Mhm.
That's Squatch Man's hand. That's not my
Oh,
hand. That's
okay.
Squatch Man's hand.
I was gonna ask.
Squatch Man is like 6'7", I think.
Mhm.
His hands are huge.
Wow.
Yeah,
And his hands look tiny next to that.
they do.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
That was the first time I started really, really believing. We had found footprints. We had found all these different evidence, but that picture, that experience was when I first started really believing.
Wow. No, that's pretty cool, because I remember you guys telling us about on your guys' show about this picture, and I didn't know you guys actually had it out on your Facebook page, and today I was looking at research, and I'm like, oh, wow, I think this is the one they talked about, so I wanted to make sure we showed our audience, because that's pretty cool evidence. I mean, everybody wants to see, you know, of course, they want the picture of the infamous, or video of the infamous being, but that's kind of hard to come by, because everybody who posts them usually have either... And part of it's the distance from the camera where they're at to where they're shooting. You always get what they call the blob squatches or whatever you want to call them. It's real grainy footage. But this is awesome evidence. When I saw that, I was really, really impressed. That I was like, wow, this is what they've been telling about to us this whole time, and I was excited. And I have some of the other pictures too. I have Jenna and the structures and all the different things I want to ask you about too. I won't zoom in. I might try to go black and white with it, but not kidding. Sorry. We'll just ask some questions about this, some different things you guys have over the years. Because one thing, and I think you guys even posted it on your guys' page at one point. Let me try to find that real fast here. I had a question for you guys. And, oh, there it is. And Jason just walked away temporarily, but that's okay. So, where's it at? Oops, it didn't show up. Oh, hold on. I'll just put it over. I don't know where to put this actually. I don't want to cover anybody up. So I'll cover. Sorry, Dan. You and I are covered up.
Cover us up, baby.
Yep. So, and I'm going to show this picture here real quick here. This is a tree structure you guys found. The infamous X's. We've encountered them out in the field, and obviously you guys have too. And what's your guys' thought on that? I think you asked your viewers, what does this stand for? What's this sign kind of, what does it mean? What do you guys think it means?
Well, that one's my picture. So that's what we took on the same mountain in Tennessee where we got that footage.
Oh, nice.
For me personally, I think it's more of like a road sign, like a guidepost that this is this area over here and over here. You know, like when you're walking on a trail and the trees are marked in the path. I think that's what that is. That's my opinion anyway.
You think it's also maybe a sign to keep out, kind of a territorial thing, possibly? Like,
I don't think so. I think that they do it like that just to make it completely different from the rest of the trees,
Sure.
so that it's easy for them to spot.
it's
I
their
don't think it's a warning.
yeah,
Personally, I don't.
it's their version of like a road map, maybe.
I agree. I actually agree with Tammy on this because I really do think it's more of like a road marker, and I also think it has to do with each individual group. That's just personal opinion. What do you think, Jen?
Because I had seen an X, it was a much smaller one, marking a trail. It was a really strange experience, and it was at that spot where I had that very first encounter. The next day, we had gone out for breakfast and said we need to go back out there and look for footprints where we heard it walking towards us. We need to go out there and look for the footprints and see if there are anything there. They didn't want to go. And I a couple of them were really excited about doing this at that point still. But the majority of the other ones were like, no. And I kind of got mean about it. And I said, listen, we cannot be Bigfoot researchers and not go back out there and look for the footprints of whatever was walking towards us. It won't work that way. Can't do it. We have to go. Well, the majority of them lived down in Minneapolis area, and they had driven up to where we were at in one car, and I had my own car. Because I don't live by Minneapolis. I live by Fargo, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota. So I had met everybody there. And so I finally bullied them to get out there. after breakfast. So we went out. I said, we're literally like 5-10 minutes away. We need to go over there. So we drove over there, and the one who was driving that car gets out of the car, and she has sandals on. And I said, you need to put tennies and socks on, or you'll catch, poison ivy out there. She's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
And Ivan said, it's time to go. And everybody who was in her car had no choice but to leave. So we never got out there to look into the woods. And we had made a rule, and I think it was actually my rule that I came up with, that we don't go into the woods alone, that we always have a partner with us, right?
Right.
Well, as they drove away and I'm about to drive away with them, I stopped my car and I'm like, this is so dumb. It's right there.
Right.
This is so dumb. I've been in the woods my whole life alone. I grew up in the woods in Minnesota. My mom and I would walk in the woods all the time. I would go in the woods by myself as a kid. My mom would scream across the valley for me to come home, and her voice would carry forever, and I would just come home. But so I'm like, this is dumb. I'm going to go. I stopped my car, got out, and I start marching into the woods. And this is kind of the story. I mean, it's awfully woo, and I didn't even know that was a word that people use. I didn't understand that at that time, but now I understand that it's very woo. But I'm walking and I'm seeing this path. It's almost lighting up a golden light color, just like a very light golden light, like marking a path. And I'm walking on it, and there's an X. Sticks of X's, an X right in the middle of the path, and the path goes right underneath it. And I was feeling called to walk that way. As a matter of fact, in my head, I could hear this sing-songy voice going, Jennifer, and just like calling me. And then, so I'm walking along, and I didn't even realize that I was in like a trance-like state. I didn't even know that I was in a trance-like state until all of a sudden I had this memory, but it was a voice of one of my friends screaming at me never to step into a fairy ring because they can take you and never bring you back.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? And I'm like, why did I have that memory? Like, when you have a memory, it's just a memory of something, but I literally heard her voice scream in my ear. Okay. And it was more than a memory. And so I just like stopped, and then I realized I was in like a trance-like state. And then I started going, wait a minute, who is calling me to walk this way? What's going on here? And then I kind of got scared because I realized I wasn't in full control of myself. So I ran back to my car. Once I got in my car, I felt safe again. So then I'm like, well, I still want to know. So I pulled my car up as close as I could get to the spot, right? And I rolled the window down, and I'm like, okay, I still feel safe. And so I started taking pictures of the pathway that I was wanting to walk, because I could see it clear as day, the path. And what I didn't notice with my plain eyes, but I noticed it in the pictures, was that there were circles within circles within circles within circles within circles in the trees, and that path walked right into them.
Wow.
So 3 pictures in a row, you could see the circles within the whole forest was this circle, 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 which I recognize as one of the petroglyphs, the ancient rock carvings from the natives that they would draw onto rocks, which represented portals. And I was like, okay, well, I almost walked into that. What would have happened if I walked into that?
Exactly.
And so I returned 3 weeks later with a friend, with full intention of walking into it with her. But it wasn't there anymore.
What? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
When you say it wasn't there, do you mean the tree structure or the X, or you mean the circles?
It wasn't a tree structure. It was literally, you could see.
Oh, it was the
pictures of
path.
it. You could see the path, but okay, you know how a path is on the ground.
Mm.
Right.
It was leading to where literally the forest was circles within circles. I mean, like you could see in the differences in the trees.
Wow.
That's on our Facebook page somewhere way back.
I think I saw that too. I think I saw the path. I didn't realize that's what it was. I can grab it real fast. But yeah, I didn't know that at all. I was getting ready to ask until you said what's the word you say? I can't remember the circles. What's it called? The pantograph? Is that what you said?
Pentagram.
What is it called? Sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
I'll do it on Messenger real quick.
I can never say the word.
Okay, what?
Oh, I'm
what
sorry.
are you trying to figure out?
The circles.
Petroglyph.
Petroglyph. There you go.
Petroglyphs.
Petroglyph. There you go.
I'll send you first a picture,
You found it?
petroglyph of a portal,
Okay.
and then I'll send you the pictures from the forest.
Okay. Perfect. I'll get those up real fast here, so viewers can see what you're talking about. What I was gonna say, what I was gonna ask you, is it because depending on what your belief system is on Bigfoot, that they also possibly have a mind control mechanism with like a sonar kind of thing that they can kind of temporarily paralyze you in the moment, so either to make their getaway or to whatever they want to do. I'm not sure if you guys believe in that or not, so I didn't know if that's what you felt like the trance-like state, if it was something related to Bigfoot or if it was because of the surroundings.
Can't hear you again, Jen.
Oh, I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you now.
Okay.
I didn't know at the time what it was. All I knew was that I was a little uncomfortable, a lot uncomfortable, knowing that I wasn't in full control of myself. That scared me. Whenever I don't feel in control, I get scared of that feeling. And that's what, I wonder what would happen if I walked through that. What would happen? Would I disappear and never come back? I was willing to walk through it if I could take someone with me and that people knew where I had gone, with people knowing that I was intending to do that. Then that would be okay. I just didn't want to just disappear in the woods and be on David Paulides' Missing 411 someday.
Which is a great series, by the way. Yep.
Was doing.
Oh my gosh.
So I sent you the 3 pictures that I took in a row of the forest, and the little X marks the spot of the path.
Okay.
And then you can see beyond that little X, and it was a smaller X than the one that Tammy took a picture of.
Oh wow.
That you can see in the forest, the circles within circles within circles design in the forest. And that's it's not there all the time. It's not like that all the time.
Let me get these up
So,
here.
and we've gone back to that spot many times.
That's interesting. Like things are messing up here. Okay, let's try this. All right. So this first picture. Let's do that.
That's a picture of a petroglyph, a native rock carving that indicates a portal. So it's circles within circles within circles. It makes sense that they would draw things the way that they look.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's picture 1 of 4, we'll say. Let's get the other one up here. I'll probably put these in the wrong order. Let's see here. Okay.
Are they seeing that as full screen or is it little screen?
It's a little screen where you can see what you see on your screen is what they'll see, but they can see enough of it. I mean, to where it's good sized.
So you see where there's more light coming through, where it's lighter.
Mhm.
That's like the center of the circle, and you can see. Hard to see on the little picture.
Let me do
I have
this.
this little screen.
Actually, I'll do this. I can make it to fit the whole screen. Maybe it'll be there. We go. How about that?
That's much better. Okay, so kind of in the middle, but down to the left, on the bottom towards the left, you can see the X, and they're just little sticks that X.
Oh yeah.
Can you see 'em?
Right in kind of the center. Yep. Mm-hmm. A little bit off
Path.
center.
Yep, that's the path that goes right back to that
Wow.
that area back there where the circles are. Can you see the circles?
In the trees. Yes.
You see him, Dan?
Yes.
Oh, let me see
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick here.
1, 2, 3, 4 rings
Wow.
at least. I can
Oh,
see.
no, I see him. Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't see those at first.
Wow.
It's almost like a little rainbow going through as well.
And yet those disappeared?
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, but 3 pictures in a row, they were there. People who are kind of more psychic, if they look at the picture a little bit harder or towards the bottom, you might see little creatures. But, but I'm not going to say that everybody would see that. But
Sure.
So, okay, are those considered fairies? little creatures? Or are those gnomes?
You know, what I can see there are different kinds of things. I see different kinds of things there.
Gotcha.
They're not all the same kind of thing. What do you see, Tammy?
There's definitely gnomes there, and there's like little Bigfoot. You know, the little people. I see them.
Like Ewokish looking. Is that what
Kind of, yeah. They look like Bigfoot, but they're little. They're tiny.
Huh. Okay.
They're only like a foot or so tall. I can't judge height with this picture, but but yeah, I see some little people, and I see some gnomes back in there.
One of our viewers asked, "Are they elementals?"
Well, I think gnomes are definitely elementals. I'm not sure about the little big feet because I haven't had any personal experience with them.
Mm-hmm.
Jen has had the experience with them, so she could answer that better.
I had an experience with one prior to me ever knowing anything about Bigfoot or that there were little people like that associated with the trees at all. I was actually at the lake and I was planting. I had purchased some morel mushroom spawn that was new, and they didn't guarantee that it would work, so they recommended planting it at the base of an elm tree because they're really good with blending with elm roots. And so I had an elm tree in the back of my property, and what I call the backwoods. And so I go out there, and I didn't know when I started digging that you're supposed to loosen up this first like 7 inches of soil and mix this mushroom spawn in there. I didn't know that the farmer who used to own the property had thrown all the rocks over the hill there. So I had to dig out all these like 2 feet of rock, but to get to the soil. And so I dug out all this rock and I started loosening the soil, and it occurred to me that I might be hurting the tree because that was a lot of stability that it was offering to the tree. And so I stopped and I said, to the spirits of the forest, I said, I'm trying to bring more life to the forest by planting this mushroom spawn here, but I didn't know that there was going to be all this rock here. I don't want to do anything to harm this tree or anything around it. Please let me know if this harms the tree and I will stop. And I waited and nothing happened. That was my first time like asking the forest if I should do something or not. Nothing happened, so I figured, okay, we should be fine. And so I bent over to start digging again and loosening the soil. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw, it looked kind of like a thick monkey, like hung down next to me, just out of my peripheral vision, just barely, and it growled in my ear.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, thank you. I'll stop. And that was it.
I mean,
Wow.
you heeded the warning, yeah, possible warning, yeah. So, I mean, they're very protective of their land, and also, well, in this case, this special magical place. I don't want to say magical. The special place that you had stumbled upon, basically. And it's just fascinating that you had gone back and it's gone. I mean,
Right.
like the symbols are gone and everything. That's mind blowing.
Pictures, the 3 pictures,
Yeah.
because they all showed the circles, but some had a little bit more
Let me go to the next 2.
depth to it. Yeah.
This is the next one in line here. You can't see it yet, but it's coming, I promise. There it is. That's picture number 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, but that's where we heard the sound coming originally, the first sound that was walking towards us. And it's not that far. And when I shined my light, because one of the things a lot of Bigfoot people would say, you don't shine your big flashlight out at something in the dark. That's kind of a no-no sometimes. But I did. I turned it on and I flashed it to see what was there, and still didn't see anything there. So, maybe that's why we couldn't see it.
Wow. Let me go to the next one real quick here.
Us ghost hunters are always running around shining our flashlights at things. So
Not all of us are heroin. I'm just kidding around.
Oh, shut up!
Wow.
Only fall down a few times.
That's why I fall in the dark. So, okay. Yeah, this is the 3rd picture here.
See the circles on that.
Oh yeah.
That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you guys can study those pictures at length if you want to.
Oh yeah, well, trust me, I will. So this is the question, and Jason's gonna lose his mind, but it's okay. what do you think about Bigfoot being interdimensional?
Hey, I'm all about
Not
things
you.
now. I know,
Okay.
but now seeing this, it's like, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, is it possible that he can walk through, like you said, portals or to other planes, basically, to make his escape, or be so elusive, or to get around?
I'm open to any of those opportunities. Those options are open to me. However, I am part Native American, like I said before.
Yep.
I really enjoy talking to the elders and getting information from them about Bigfoot and other things as well. But they say that Bigfoot can travel through portals. They don't say that as a word. They say through tunnels under the ground, that they can travel instantaneously, physical travel from one place to another by just going through the ground really fast. And I'm like, you're not talking like a tunnel that's there and they're just running really fast, right? That's not what you mean. They're like, no. It's like instantaneous physical travel from one place to another, and they travel through the ground. So to me, that says portal. So, although I enjoy collecting that information and that wisdom from them, and I don't disbelieve them, my logical mind also goes, wait a minute, I need proof of that.
Sure.
But I've experienced these things. I've like that happened in the woods there. Jenna and I also found footprints in a gravel pit, that at the top of the gravel pit, the footprints disappeared at circles within circles within circles of the flat. Everything was flattened, the weeds were flattened, and it left these perfect circles in the sand. Perfect circles, and the footprints disappeared there. And on a gravel pit, I'm telling you, footprints do not disappear. You step somewhere and it's there. You can't hide that.
Would it be this one you're talking about? I come prepared. 1 second, let me click on it real fast here. This is the one I remember. I think this is the photo you showed us, I believe, at the Paracon, or was that snow possibly? I can't remember. But I got a couple pictures from that actual, I believe what you're talking about. So if you can see it, once I click, allow everybody to see. 1 second here. We'll just do that. Okay. So is this the gravel pit you're talking about right here?
Yes. Okay. Do you have other angles of it?
I do. I have the one from the top view and then a couple other things. So this is just from the bottom below, so people can see kind of get an idea how tall this thing is. Because there's other pictures that.
And so I think that's Nikki laying on the hill next to the footprints up there.
Oh, okay.
Nikki's not a small girl. She looks really small there though, laying up there.
This is another angle of the actual print itself, where I'm trying to think what's the best place. I don't want to cover you guys up. Okay, I'll put it there. I'm sorry, Jen. I had to cover you up. So this is from the top view of these footprints.
Yep. Do you have another one?
I have a close-up. Is there one you want me to pull up? I can pull up a specific one. Because the one that I had next, which I found fascinating, is... Let me make sure I don't have any other ones. Okay. This is an actual close-up of the actual print itself. That fascinated me. It's pretty well defined. To me, I can see what I'm looking at. And we've seen these multiple places. One in Oklahoma, or not one, but one place is Oklahoma. The one from here in Kansas that we talked about on your show about the dry creek bed where the thing had just stopped or walked across the road and then kept on going into the actual brush.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty well defined. To me, that's definitely a barefoot, not a bear in the sense of like raw bear, but a bare footprint of a bipedal something walking in the gravel pit.
What's interesting is that when we showed all the pictures of this to Bobo from Finding Bigfoot, and he saw the angle of that hill and how steep it was, he's like, that had to be a Squatch. That couldn't be a human, and that couldn't have been a bear. That had to be
Definitely not a bear. Yeah, definitely not a bear.
Definitely rule out a bear instantly.
Yeah.
And that one's
I agree.
huge.
I agree.
Just gonna try to see if I can find your other pictures.
So one of the pictures that's taken from the top of the hill where Nikki's hand and foot are still in the side of the picture, so you can kind of see like how big her hand and foot is compared to the footprints itself.
Let me find
And
that.
and that Jenna was the brave girl at the top of the hill there. I was I was the small little one at the bottom.
And I honestly, climbing up that hill, it was so steep. You literally take one step, you fall down half of the step you just took.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, but it was amazing, and the workout was great. I loved it. I got to climb a few other ones that summer too. Remember, we got to climb those other sand hills. We were looking at other sand hills around the area. And yeah, I was like, and that time I actually brought my walking sticks. I was like, oh, that's not going to get me this time. So
I thought it
was
would
walking.
I thought it would be so cool. I have those videos, Jenna. I thought it'd be so cool to find that sound that they have on The Price is Right, where they have the little guy he's going up the hill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That is
would be
hilarious. Okay, I found the picture.
Because how would she look like? She's going up there.
Oh my gosh, the yodeler. Please find that. Oh my gosh, that'd be funny.
We have too much fun, I'm telling you.
I mean,
we
you
laugh
gotta-
too hard.
You got to.
Yeah. Well, and if life is about intent, and if animals and humans and beings can sense our intent, let's let it be good, fun, happy. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
I definitely.
Absolutely.
I thought I had it. Where'd it go? Oh.
Are you looking for the one with the
Oh,
3 circles?
I did. I was going to find the handprint comparison
Oh,
from the infamous, from the same rock quarry, but it's not showing up on my screen yet. Let me do this real quick here. I just found it. Okay. Oh, really? Go ahead and show it. There it goes. Okay. So, is this when you're talking about, Jen, the where she's measuring?
That's Nikki. She's measuring them. And the smallest print that we felt wasn't sliding was 18 inches
Oh, wow.
from toes to heel.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was quite large. You know, some of them measured up to 24 inches because it was, you know, there was some slide there,
Wow.
which is to be expected because, well, whatever this was, walked up without putting its hands down. Where the girls that climbed up the hill next to it, they couldn't do that. They were hands and feet trying to climb up and sliding back down again. It was so steep.
I just found some more fun ones. I'm going to go ahead and... That's where Sharon. Sharon is Karen. Let's get this one up here, too. This one made me laugh. Here we go.
Okay, so there's Nikki laying on the hill next to the prints that we're trying to cast. So she's chilling out there waiting for them to dry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we realized, how are we going to get those down from there?
Ah, yeah, that is... That's quite the predicament, especially the
Slide
angle of
down.
that without ruining everything. I mean,
Yeah.
ruining the cast itself. Sorry, these guys are on delay. They can't see it yet. They're missing the action. Let me do this so they can...
There we go.
There it is. So, yeah, that's because like we posted initially, that thing is pretty steep. I mean, just to get up there, and as you guys found out, walking it was not the easiest of tasks. And, yeah, wow. So you can kind of even get a comparison just from, you said it was Nikki at the time. You can see just from her body angle how big these footprints are. I mean, because how do you measure on the side of a hill without getting next to it and braving it without falling down? You know, that's pretty obvious. Those things were monstrous as far as you can see the cast itself. That's impressive.
Well, you know, and an issue was too we were having is we were working with the consistency of the what do you call it? Was that the cement, Jen?
No, that we were using plaster of Paris at that
plaster
time.
of
Now,
Paris.
now we have dental stone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We invested in the dental stone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's a lot more expensive, but it's going to be a better quality cast in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this time, we were trying to cast in the gravel pit, which is hard to do anyway, and we got some pointers from other Bigfooters on how to do it differently next time because these casts did not turn out at all.
Oh gosh, but hey, at least you got pictures of it, documenting that. Because if you didn't have it, people would be like, "Well, that's a great story, but we want to see the evidence," kind of a thing. And pictures do it justice. I mean, as far as the size, I do have another picture I'll put up here so people can see just how tall this thing was.
Yep, there it is.
It's pretty tall. Yep. So.
Yeah,
And
and
Jen-
at the top,
Jen's not short. Jen's the person in frame taking the picture right there. Jen's not short herself, so I mean if if you ever see her in person, you understand what I'm talking about. Because are you 5? I hate to give you your measurements. Are you 5'9", 10-ish?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just guessing. So you can see, how tall that actual quarry is. I mean, that's pretty good size. And up there, the little small person, is that Jenna up there, or is that?
Is it me or was that Nikki?
I think it was you.
I can't see. I thought I can't see any of these photos. I'm gonna need. I put on my readers, but then you guys would see me like Google-eyed. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
know.
There's another picture. Maybe I can get a picture of this one. I think this one kind of gives a possible idea who's up there. But let me look here.
But I can't wait to do it again, Jen. I will. I would love to try to climb that thing again.
And it was fun
you
because
would love it.
yeah, craziness.
I'd try to run up without touching.
And you would do it too. Now I'm an all-footer. All foot and hand. All foot and hand.
So is that Jen up
Okay,
there?
Who is that?
Got blonde hair.
No, I think that's Nikki because I was coming
Christina.
up. Is it?
That almost looks like
I
Nikki that
guess.
was in the picture
Actually,
before.
looking at the picture of Nikki, I think that is Nikki because it looks like she's wearing a gray sweater and a black top. And the picture with, I'll put that one back up. Actually, I can do this. 1 second. We can do comparison. 1 second.
And while this is happening, I'm walking back and forth to the car too because we need things from the vehicle and for making these. And so I think that's where some of the pictures from behind come too because I need to really lessen my load this year. 2 cameras max, guys, on my body. That's I can never be ready with like 12, even though they're awesome. It is my goal to be ready when we walk out the door.
So,
So.
1
so
second.
Jen can never say that again.
Exactly. No,
Oh
no.
my God.
It's not about that though, you guys. Seriously, I think we should all have at least 2 because I was carrying around way too much.
Understandable. I do the same thing too. And
Yeah.
Jason's always asking me, "You want to carry something for you? You want to do?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah.
And I'm not.
My
I'm
mom-
like, "Help me."
My mom calls it being a pack horse. She's like, Jenna, did you really grab 12 bags of groceries? I'm like, Mom, it's okay. It was 1 trip versus 4. She's like, here. Gotta make it work.
Definitely. So yeah, I think that is Nikki, like you said, just based upon what she's wearing. I don't see a picture of Jen in here to compare with.
Well,
There may be one I'm just probably overlooking.
but she was wearing that black.
Oh, I just found one. Jenna has like a. Here we go. Mystery solved, possibly.
Yeah, it looks like they're the same person. To me.
Jenna is wearing pink that
Yeah.
day, so we'll go with this one.
Uh-oh.
1
How
second.
bad do I look, guys? Not nice if I
Well,
have rolls.
it's not the one picture everybody's waiting to see, but it's
Yeah.
it'll
You're
it'll
saved
do.
by the bell.
There she is.
Say there's Miss
yeah.
Jenna and Nikki's behind her, so I think it's safe to say that is Nikki up top. So
Well, and wearing pink in those bright colors for us, it really helps us. And for other people seeing us, they know that we are wearing.
Let me
that
tell
we're
the
people.
story. Let me tell
Yeah.
that story. Okay, so this happened on my reservation. I'm a tribal member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians in northern Minnesota. Okay, it is one of the few reservations that did not cede to the government. So when you cross into the reservation, you're not 100% still in America. Okay.
okay.
So there's different laws and whatever when you cross the border. And, the joke used to be when I was a kid that if you committed a crime, just run to the res. They can't come get you. That was always the joke, right?
Definitely.
Not that I ever committed a crime. That never happened. But it's always a joke, right? So, anyway, so on the reservation, they don't have deer hunting season. It's always deer hunting season every single day for tribal members, okay? And they hunt in a unique way. They don't have deer stands. They don't have hunting blinds. They have trucks. Somebody drives it and somebody stands in the back with their rifle over the top. Okay?
Wow.
This is how they hunt, right? So I'm telling the girls that we have to wear brighter colors, especially when we're in the woods, because if you check out the color of my hair, it kind of looks like a deer, doesn't it?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And you don't want to accidentally get shot like my great grandparents did.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. They used to camp out at the Narrows, on the western edge of the Narrows on the reservation, and they would leave their little boat there. And what they would do when they would camp is they would turn their boat upside down, and they would use that as a tent. So the boat would cover them up like a tent at night.
Gotcha.
Well, they were coming up out of their boat one morning, and somebody shot them, thinking they were a moose.
Oh my god.
They were okay. They both got hit by the shot, but they were okay. It wasn't life threatening or anything, so that was good. But the moral of the story is don't get shot. And
I don't mean to laugh, but that's a good moral. I mean, don't get shot.
I was telling the girls, hey, if you see the hunters, don't get scared. You might see some guys driving by in trucks with, guys with guns pointing out. Don't get scared. They're just hunting. They don't care about us, But then when those guys drove into the gravel pit area where we were at, the look on everybody's face was just priceless. Because I think there were 3 guys with guns standing in the back.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, they're just hunting. They don't care about you.
Fair enough.
They're looking for deer.
Yep.
And it's hard pressed to find deer on the reservation, that's for sure.
Oh wow. Why is that, if you don't mind me asking? Is it just because of...
They hunt year round.
Do what?
They hunt year round.
Oh, duh. Makes sense. So lack of population, possibly, of deer population.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe just because of the amount of people there, they try to...
Oh,
if it,
true. Yeah.
It's highly unpopulated, but it's a very large reservation. Like out west, they'd find more deer than there would be on the east side.
Oh wow.
But I was coming in on the southeast border one time, and I saw a deer on the reservation, and I was like, "Go back! It's not safe here."
It's not. You don't want to be somebody's trophy or dinner, but I know you guys are really protectors of animals, which I love. I mean, I think we all are on the show.
Yeah.
I don't hunt,
Totally.
so.
I'm not against hunting. I
Sure.
mean, I was raised that hunter-gatherer. But you only take what you use.
Exactly.
You use what you take, and you're thankful for that, and you use as much of it as you can. So as long as you're following those rules, and then I'm all for it. As a matter of fact, my great uncle taught me when I went out on the reservation, and I was asking them about how they used to do this and how they used to do that before they had refrigerators and things like that. I asked him, well, how did you keep deer cold when you would get a deer? And he said that they would share it with all the neighbors. Everybody would come and take some. And I said, well, didn't you ever go without? And he said, no. He says, the earth will provide. Mother Earth will always provide. And he taught me that you can pray through the Great Spirit, which Christians would call the Holy Spirit, that you can pray through the Great Spirit that connects all things. And he said that he would always just pray that the Great Spirit connect him to a deer that was reaching the end of his life cycle, who wanted to give himself to the family for food. That deer would come and offer itself to them, and he said they just show up. And it sounds really odd and really bizarre, but at the time I was married, and my husband was not into this kind of thing at all. He was not open to even hearing about it, but he was going on a deer hunt with my uncle in northern Minnesota. So when he left, and he had never even so much as seen a deer up there, because there had been a TB outbreak, and the DNR had gone in and shot most of the deer up there a few years prior to that. So there was a very low deer population. And so he had said it would be so cool if he could get a deer, and even if it had one with a big rack, he would be so excited about that, because he'd never had that before. And so when he left to go hunting, I went outside with my tobacco offering in my hand, and I called out for the Great Spirit and left my tobacco, and I asked to be connected to any deer that was in the vicinity of my uncle's deer camp up by Williams, Minnesota. that were reaching the end of their life cycle. If they'd like to offer themselves to our family, I'd be grateful, and I would be giving many prayers to their safe return to the mother, and da 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 da. And P.S. If you have a big rack, that'd be even great. And and it sounds funny, but the next morning, my husband went out, but when it was still dark, and he got to his deer stand, and he was in there for probably an hour before the sun started to peek out. And he, probably 15 minutes before any bit of first light, he heard something moving and coming closer and closer to him.
Uh-oh.
Jen, you froze.
Yeah, we lost Jen.
Damn it. We just came
I know.
ready to start.
I know. I'm
Right.
on the edge of my seat over here.
I can
Cliffhanger.
even hear it breathing.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait,
the
Jen.
lights are coming up.
Uh-oh. Where'd she
Oh,
go?
now she's gone. Did you kick her out?
I didn't touch it this time.
Again.
Say no,
there she is.
not me this time. My hands are off.
So where did we leave off hearing her story? Which part was
I
it?
remember a big rack. That's all I remember. And
Oh, yeah,
It
it was
in
right after the
morning,
big
rack.
Right before the light.
Yes.
Okay, so he went out before the light, or did you hear that there was something out there?
That he was
Oh.
out there before the light, and then there was something out there.
okay.
Yeah, he could hear something that had approached, and he could hear it right outside of his deer stand. He could even hear it breathing, but he couldn't see what it was. And then all of a sudden the light starts to come, and he looks out, and there's this gigantic buck with this huge rack
Oh, wow.
just looking up at him right underneath his deer stand. And he grabs his gun, and he points it at him. And he said it was just weird because the deer didn't move. He just kept looking at him.
Oh my
And
God.
so then he
Wow.
like made a sound thinking he should run because he felt weird about shooting it.
Right.
When he was,
Wow.
and he said to him, he's like, it was almost like he was waiting to be shot.
Oh my gosh.
And I never told him. He would have called me a witch or something. No offense, Tammy.
I am a witch.
But I mean, he would have thought that was purely that something like that happened, but really that was what my great uncle, the Native American great uncle, told me that they did, that they would pray to the Great Spirit to connect with them, with these deer that were wanting to give themselves to the family for food, that were reaching the end of their natural life cycle. So, I mean, I'm all about that. And then she started going up there with me after a while, and she felt better about it when she saw that I was accepted, and it was a different time.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. Do you think, and this can be all for any of you, based upon your backgrounds, you guys have your own tendencies or gifts, or however you want to look at it? I don't want to put a label on it. You guys can label yourselves because you know what you have. Do you think it's because of things like that, the connection to the Native Americans, or just something that you were born with, or what's your guys' take on that?
I do feel that a lot of mine comes from my connection to the land, to the ancestors, to nature spirits. I think that a lot of that comes from my native side of the family. But I think that that's something that's available to all people.
Sure.
Because at some point in time we were all indigenous to somewhere. And that, there's a tribe in Scandinavia, in northern Scandinavian, called what are they called? I can't remember the name of the tribe now. Swami people.
Mm-hmm.
And they are indigenous Scandinavian reindeer herders. And they're basically blonde-haired Indians.
Oh, wow.
But they live, their culture and their belief system and their religion, so to speak, is almost identical to that of the Ojibwe people. So that's really fascinating how, separated by, a vast ocean and continents, that they could have these same belief systems and same ceremonies and same type of living. But how is that possible? If something's true, it's true no matter where you are.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people migrated from Norway and all those areas to Minnesota. There's such a population of Scandinavian or Norwegian people in Minnesota, like nowhere else in the entire country.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
That's true. Most of the people here are like Norwegian, German, Swedish. And then if they're French Canadian, that's Indian, and we're hiding it.
Oh wow!
That's another story.
I was gonna say.
But I do want to answer your question.
Please,
I know you said
please.
that you had asked us all. The reason why I wanted to answer it is because I really do think, like Jen said, it's a wonderful thing when you can be connected to nature and her spirituality with being Native American and all the stories and everything. With me, I think it's more, my father's side was more prophetic, and my mother's side was more Christian, or what would you call it? Like healing, Christianity kind of thing. So where the communication comes in. I just think that on both sides, they kind of put together and then they got me. So I call myself a receiver of information, and I will receive it and I'll do whatever they want me to do with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't think I'm near, Jen, the shame. No, but I'm definitely not as strong as Jen and Tammy, but definitely when I get the information,
We all
you got to
have
do
our
what they
own
say.
Yeah,
That's
that's
For me, I am pagan. I'm a witch. I'm connected to the earth. I'm connected to all, the earth, the air, the water, everything. But I am 100% European, and I know that in my ancestry line that I had a lot of healers and midwives and witches in my ancestry line. So I know that my connection is definitely ancestral also. It's just not Native American.
Gotcha. Wow. Like I said, it's awesome that you guys each bring something unique to your team that
Absolutely.
benefits you
Yeah.
guys. I mean, out in the field or just in your research. Because I know on the previous episode we had you on, I remember Jen talking about using. I can't remember the label where you could kind of use a map and see things, and then I want to go there, and then you maybe have an encounter more often than not, which is pretty fascinating. Just being connected to what you're looking for or what you're trying to research is pretty fascinating. We're getting close to the end of the show, but there's a couple of things I want to throw out there. I mean, I can't believe how fast this has gone. It always does when we get to talking. So that's why you got to come back on the show again and again so we get all the stories. Because, I mean, when you guys are going, like I said, April 23rd and 24th to Nebraska, Hastings, Nebraska, for the Nebraska Bigfooting Conference coming up here. I can't wait to see, A, what you guys talk about, and also B, just you guys are going to the Bigfooting Museum. That sounds amazing. I want to go up there
I know.
for that too, but
know.
I don't think we're going to be able to make it this time just because we have cases we're working on right now. I know we have one the previous week. We're doing a public investigation that weekend. So, but you never know. We may show up. You never know. So, but one of the stories you guys told us, and this is the first time I was hearing about it, was on the Journeys radio show you guys do. You guys do it every Wednesday night? Is that when your show airs, 9 to 10 every Wednesday night? Jason and I have been blessed to be on it twice now, and we had some fun times and some good talks. What I wanted to say was, I remember Jenna telling a story about what she saw through her binoculars that just totally blew my mind. It gave me chills. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I wish I could see that. I mean,
know.
honestly.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm talking about, Jenna?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I
Oh, yes.
figured. Can you tell our
Yes.
viewers that story? Because guys, this is going to blow your mind when you hear this story. It's amazing. So.
Sure. No, well, see, I came into this whole Bigfoot thing with my eyes wide open. And we happened to we found those prints up the hill, up that steep hill. And the other people on the team actually left Jen and I. They were looking for somebody to volunteer to stay there, so nothing would happen to the prints, or if it rained, we could cover them up while they went off to get a small shovel so we could dig up the prints. And so while they were gone, Jen and I were sitting there, and I had these binoculars, and I was looking at, it was like a set of what would you call that? It was like a little set of, Jen, what would you call that? Like bushes?
Bushes in front of the trees. In front
Yeah,
of the
okay,
tree
bushes
line.
in front of the trees. So anyway, I was looking, and all of a sudden I saw this thing. Let's see. It was like this, and it looked just like a gnome, and its face was like this, and it had the hat, and it had everything, and it was looking over to the side, and all of a sudden, as I was watching, I thought, oh my gosh, that looks like a gnome, and it went, And I went, oh, and I took the thermal. Oh my gosh, it freaked me out so much. I had no idea. I'd never seen anything like that before. I had no idea. I just saw my first gnome. I was like freaked out because literally its face like turned to look at me like after I said that. Oh my gosh, that looks like a gnome. It was like, I am, it was like the way I took it, But yeah, that was a very, very scary moment, I have to say. But
so were you brave enough to look back in that direction after the fact? I'm sure you like flew back and astonishment.
Oh yeah.
So
I tried to find it immediately and I couldn't find it. I told Jen, I said it's gone. I don't know. I have to. And I can't find the video either. And I keep going through all the videos. I know. So I've got so many videos I just have to keep going through because I keep wanting to check and see if you can see the outline. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh my God.
It was so specific and
So,
and it was the same time. At the same time, she was looking through her. I don't remember if it was your FLIR or your unocular, but I was looking through the monocular at the same place, and I looked at this other patch of bushes that was closer to us. I'm just sitting on the sand, on a little sand hill, and we're waiting for everybody to come back from getting the other supplies to get the cast down off the hill, and it's getting dark. It was getting dark, and so we're starting to look with our more night vision stuff. And I just kind of looked through it, and I just got it in the mail. That was my first time using that monocular ever, because we just got it. And I turned and I looked over at these bushes, and it wasn't on record yet. I just had turned it on and was just starting to look through it, and there were these little people standing there waving, like a whole bunch of them. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And
it was
go ahead.
It was such a beautiful experience.
Oh, I bet you it's mind blowing. Yeah, because like I said, we've experienced something similar to that. A story we told you about Tahlequah, where we heard the voices and caught them on recorder. We didn't capture who was saying them. Now I want to know if they were truly. I mean, maybe they were there in the bushes, because we were across the river by some caves, and I mean they spoke together in unison, and it's all like I said, documented. But now I want to know, were they inches away from us, and I just didn't happen to look down and see them because I was looking up versus looking for these small creatures. It's baffling to me, but I mean it kind of goes in with what you guys are talking about here. So yeah, when I heard that story, I'm like, light bulb went on. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like similar stuff, because we were looking for Bigfoot and paranormal at the time, and we encountered something else. But
well, and the thing is, we have been brought up to believe that they don't exist. So when you see something, I mean, it blows your mind, and you're afraid to tell people because you're afraid you're going to be put in the clink.
the old nut house, unfortunately, because like I said, we're all of us on the show, and including yourselves, we're all open-minded people. Obviously, if we're out here looking for paranormal, looking for UFOs, looking for Bigfoot, looking for whatever, fairies, you name it, gnomes, possibly. I mean, maybe we're not the crazy people if we're experiencing. Maybe it's everyone else that are closed-minded, the ones that need to open their.
I always said people need to leave their bubble of life and actually go
their
and
comfort
search.
zones. Yeah, away from your comfort zone and go out and experience life.
I have to say, I personally love Tammy's view. She always says, "Drink the Kool-Aid."
I like that statement.
Yeah, because that's all people are doing if they live in that little box. So thank you, Tammy. That's awesome.
You're
I
welcome.
agree. I agree with that.
Follow me on Instagram for more life advice.
But subscribe for $19.99. Anyways, we're trying to get you. Not for the. Anyways, no, but.
Oh no.
Maybe one day. No, I'm kidding. The old Scandal video comes out once you make it big and famous, right? That's when it comes out.
That's when you have to be careful who you're letting edit your stuff.
Like I said, if you ever need help seriously for anything, let me know. I work in IT for my job, and I also do all the editing and videos for the show and stuff like that. So, of course, for something like that, I'd rather you guys be there. That way I'm not just like, oogling over. I would want your guys' take on it or blessing on it. So if you ever need anything help, let us know. Seriously, we're here to help. And we definitely love the conversations we're having with you guys. And our viewers are just at the edge of their seat for everything you guys are saying. And they've really enjoyed tonight's show. They keep telling me in the chat. they really enjoyed the show tonight. So with that being said, like I said, we definitely would like to have you guys back on again. Anytime you're welcome to join us. Could we even touch how you guys got your start? And I know it's through the paranormal side of things. You guys were a paranormal team originally, or paranormal investigators. And it kind of plays into what you guys do when you guys go out in the field, even to this day. I mean, you guys still use the gifts. You still use some of your investigative skills from that. And I think the viewers would love to hear, well, hey, they do just like you guys talk about doing, because we do the same thing. We're paranormal investigators by night, maybe a bit, or possible, Sasquatch hunters also, too. So we'd love to have you guys back on anytime. You're welcome. So...
I could listen to you guys all night long.
I just think that the three of them take investigating to a whole new level and kind of kick the rest of us to the curb here for some of these things.
Together, we're all learning.
But yeah.
All the answers.
I was gonna say we're all looking for the same thing.
The equipment that you guys have. Woo! I've got equipment envy.
Well, you guys have the FLIR.
We just need to meet up sometime.
That's one thing we're missing is a FLIR. Well, we had one at one time, and then that former teammate took it with them, so that was theirs. So
the next.
Go ahead, sorry.
What?
Oh, go ahead. I'm done. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the next time we see, I know we only have like very, very few minutes left. I was just gonna say next time we can play. We can play. Look at mine. Show you mine. Then we can show you our equipment, and you can show us your equipment.
Whoa!
With the equipment.
And yes, equipment. Actually, that's how we found our. Actually, I've got it right here. It's amazing. Jen and I talked to somebody 2 years ago, and we got one of these.
Oh yeah.
And it is wonderful. Absolutely fabulous.
I agree.
I thought you were going to show them your Seek and how it can see through clothing.
I was expecting
no more of the naked.
I was expecting the bra. What do you call them? The hot sticky whatever pads they were.
Yes, the sticky bra.
Sticky bra. That's what it's called.
Sticky bra.
She got another thermal camera called a Seek, and when she showed it to me, she was so excited. We were in Kentucky at the Crypticon.
I got that.
And we were in our hotel room, and she's like, "Jen, you got to try this out." She turned off all the lights, and I was so tired. I was ready for bed. And she's like, "Just look at me through this." And so I looked at her and I'm like, "Jenna, I can see your tots."
Your titter tots.
Your titter tots. Oh my gosh. Yes, I can imagine what you saw, just because even in infrared, everything looks, even though whether they're wearing black or whatever color shirt they're wearing, you can see more than you anticipate. Yeah.
I literally had to take that thing and look at myself in the mirror, and I went. and then I took a picture of Jen because I said, "You gotta see yourself," and you could. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we'll be on public events, and we'll be, taking our cameras around, and we have to turn away really quickly because we're like, okay, the guests
I got one that are
wearing things that they shouldn't be wearing tonight. So.
Like what? Like what?
Some of them wear some low cut tops.
One
investigation, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Can't really show up,
don't show
everything.
Because she was very top heavy, and it's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Do not wear black pants with my camera.
And like I said, if we're looking through infrared, it's just like, oh my god. If I even show her on camera once, people are like, oh, we know what you're looking at. It's just like, no. Well, yes, but no. But anyways.
She'll never admit it.
Oh, I will.
But men are men. I think it's perfectly normal for them to admire the female body. Women are women. Heck, men are just admire us all. And thank you, Tammy. We're going to do natural things.
I think it's perfectly natural.
Would you say anything?
It's natural, I think.
Yes, it is very natural.
It's horrible. I just added a word to my vocabulary, though. Titter tots. I got to keep that one.
Titter tots.
Titter tots, yeah.
That's the new one.
She-Squatchers coined that phrase.
I'm sorry. I'm going to borrow for a couple minutes.
Can I ask your listeners and your viewers to please come over to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe, because we are in a subscribe race with another YouTuber who dared challenge us to a race. And now we want to win.
Go on and like them.
So please come subscribe. She-Squatchers Official. We need to win.
We'll get on there.
And we're on Instagram too at She-Squatchers Official.
I'm putting the link on the page right now so they can just go over there and start clicking. Maybe if I can
Let's
type.
get her done.
Come on. Sorry, I know this makes for a great radio or show.
That's all right.
I'm about to put it up afterwards, because we'll put it on our page, and then we'll tag their Facebook page and also their website, and I'll make sure the link's out of there, and I'll share it everywhere, because we want them to win too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Definitely. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us this evening. We would love to have you back on. Like I said, I mean, we could go on all night, I'm sure, but some of us do have to work in the morning, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So you guys are welcome to come back, tell more stories, tell more. I guess I didn't get some of the pictures I captured on here from your guys' pages. I wanted to ask you about some structures. I didn't even show the infamous Jenna picture when she's, you know what I'm talking about. So, no, anyways. But next time, right? We'll get you guys, make sure we get you guys back on the show. So, once again, if you want to see them live in person, April 23rd and 24th, they'll be at the Nebraska Bigfooting Conference. I was trying to think what the official name was, sorry. In Hastings, Nebraska. Make sure you guys tune in. And like I said, tune in every Wednesday night to their podcast. It's called the Journey Radio Show. I hope I said that right. It's available on YouTube. We'll get the links out here shortly. And it's a great show. We had fun. We had a blast. So thank you guys for having us. So
Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
well,
It was so fun.
It was fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. So,
All right.
I'm Leo, for Jason, Andy, and Dan.
I'm Dan, yes.
I haven't seen these guys for a while, so
Sorry.
who are you again? I can't remember your names. And then, of course, for the lovely She-Squatchers, we got Tammy Trickle, Jenna Grover, and Jen Cruz. Thank you guys for tuning in this evening. We'll see you guys next time.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.